What's the lie you believed the longest in your life? One time my mom was at the store and she brought home something for herself, my sister and my dad, and 5-year-old me was like, "What did you get for me?" And to prevent me from being left out, she reached into the bag and was like, "Oh, I got you this potato masher." And for years before anyone mashed any potatoes, they came and asked me if they could use it. Okay, I'm going to sound dumb here. I loved the movie Pretty Woman as a young kid. I asked why people were mean to her, and my mom said because she was a redhead. She was wearing a blonde wig in the beginning, and in real life, kids teased the redhead kids, so it checks out. Years later, I'm 22, and my friend says she wants to watch it. Cool, I loved it when I was little. We start it, and right away, I'm like, oh my god, she's a prostitute. That my mom was a redhead. For years I thought she was a natural redhead. She was 40 when I entered the picture, so I always knew she dyed her hair. Just thought it was to cover up her grays. When I was about 35, my niece clued me in on a family secret. When my mom first spotted my dad at work back in the day, she asked around about him. Someone told her, he only dates redheads. Mom started dyeing her hair from brown to red, and sure enough, she got the date. And eventually, she got the ring. I never suspected. Photos from the 50s were like black and white or sepia, and her brown hair looked like it could have been red. But she had 5 kids, and none of us are gingers, just wasn't something I ever thought about or suspected. And yeah, Dad knows. But didn't broadcast it to us kids. So I believed that for ages. My mom told me when I was 5 and my favorite dog died that it doesn't matter that dogs die, because in 7 years they respawn. So I was like, oh, fine, see you then bud, I will be older and we will play again. While dating, my husband made a joke about the Chicago Bulls disbanding after their second three-peat. I'm not a big sports ball fan, so I thought he was serious. Just being funny, he told me this whole story about it being done because they kept winning and wanted to give other teams a chance, so the players all went the other teams. I bought it hook, line, and sinker. He was amused, and we went about life. From time to time, the Chicago Bulls' 90s glory would come up as a topic, and I would comment on how awesome it was that they were such good sportsmen that they disbanded to give others a chance. The first time I repeated it, my husband couldn't believe I still thought that was true, and was so amused, he didn't correct me. Every time it came up he said it got funnier and funnier, and at one point he decided to see how long it would go on. Cue about 8 years later, and I'm at work and it's the NBA playoffs. Lo and behold, someone says the Bulls are their favorite team. Cue my typical comment, but this time my coworker looked at me and was like, WTF did you just say? The jig was up and I went home and said, hey did you know the Bulls never stopped being a team? My husband almost wet himself, he was laughing so hard and said, someone finally told you. I'll admit, it's pretty funny. When I was very young, we had a pet hamster. He got out of his cage, so my dad put the cage in the basement, thinking he might get hungry and get back in. One morning I woke up and there was the hamster in his cage in the usual place. I asked my mom how they found him and she told me she opened the door to the cellar and there he was dragging his cage back upstairs. It wasn't until I was a teenager and remembered the exchange that it occurred to me she obviously made that up. That if I ran over the cord with the vacuum cleaner, it could suck it up and eventually suck in the whole world. During an exceptionally dark time I said fuck it and ran over the vacuum cord. Nothing. Do over. Nothing. Try a different angle. Nothing. My disappointment was immediate and immeasurable. That if I tried hard, worked hard, was a good person, everything would be okay. My cat brought a lizard into the house. It was still alive. I decided to build it a terrarium and nurse it back to health. I did so, and then released it back into the wild a few days later. My mom told me that the cat immediately went outside and ate the lizard after I had released it when I was 18. She and my dad knew I'd be devastated, so they lied by omission and didn't tell me. The way she sat me down to tell me scared the shit out of me. I thought she was going to tell me something dreadful. I thought I saved that lizard for years. that I was allergic to hamsters. My mom told me that I was after I got an allergy test when I was 9. I was about 26 when I put it together that she hated rodents and wanted me to stop asking for a pet hamster.